The traditions of the outdoor sportsman are more important than ever, and it's up to us to pass them on to others. Two families, one passion. To inspire the next generation of ethical hunters and conservationists, continuing the legacy of hunting and fishing in the outdoors.
I was lucky enough to draw first archery tag in Nevada. There was a big water hole down below us in a big basin, and these elk just were on fire. I mean, it was awesome. There's bulls everywhere in front of us, and we were right in the middle of them. I just didn't know what to do. We get into this water hole, and it's pretty dark out still, but just starting to get light. We're not seeing anything, and all of a sudden, a bull bugles like maybe 50 yards behind us over the rise right behind us. And it's that old growly old bull. He's coming right to us. And, but he's coming in behind us, and we just literally, I mean, we just hunkered down. I grabbed my bow and put it in place, and this bull steps in. He steps in at like no more than 3 to 5 yards from us and starts staring at us. He is right in the middle of us. And I'm thinking to myself, don't move, don't twist, you can't, I mean, you couldn't even blink your eyes. And finally, after about 2.5 minutes of him staring us down, he figured out that we were part of that berry bush or something, I don't know. But he ended up walking around then went right down into the, past the berry bush. When he got right on the other side of the bush that we were sitting on, maybe 2 yards away, 3 yards away, Nevada bull. This one's in the books. It was unbelievable. This is one of the most exciting elk hunts I've ever been on, and I've been on a few.
I was fortunate enough to draw a deer tag here in my own state again this year, and it happened to be over in Ely, Nevada. Trevor's part of the woods, so it was pretty exciting for me to be able to come back and hunt with my friend. I mean, that's the most exciting part about it for me.
Mike had spotted a pretty good buck and said, I think it's one you need to look at. So we took a look at him and said, yeah, we could see he had that big, hook cheater on him, and he had a solid frame, and it looked good enough for Mike, and we thought it's definitely a trophy animal, and we're gonna try to get him, I'm gonna try to sneak on this buck. What we found looks pretty good, so I'm trying to get into position for a shot, hopefully.
We knew the general direction that these bucks were headed. They were just kind of feeding a little bit uphill and across the valley, and we knew if we could get in front of them that we had a good shot of maybe intercepting where they were going.
So when we went up there and he was cutting across, and we just got ahead of him a little bit, and then he ended up coming perfect. And
you got him, he stopped right there. He stopped. Yep. Okay.
Trevor said, move the gun over to the right. There's an opening where the first buck went through. He's going to follow that first buck. They're going to come right through there. And sure enough, you know, seemed like an eternity, but it was maybe only, you know, less than a minute. And here he come, and he walked into that opening, and he had a little buck behind him, kind of pushing him, and he stopped in that opening. And
he stopped right there. He stopped. Yep. Okay. Got him. Reload. I think that might have done it, but he's going. He's doing the wobble back.
That one got him.
Did it?
Yeah. As they say, the rest is history. We let him have it at 375 yards, and, you know, as they say, big buck down. We just shot a giant Nevada mule deer with a big old cheater. The whole experience of being in the outdoors, I think, and that's what it's all about. 2017 Nevada rifled mule deer. I'd like to thank my good friends, Chuck Marks and Trevor Marks, for getting us on this buck today, and we made it happen.
This is the first elk tag I've ever drawn. I've been putting in for 5 or 6 years now, and super excited. I've gotten to go out and help my mom and dad and some of my dad's friends on hunts, and I just loved it, chasing after big bulls. They're amazing animals. I couldn't wait to get out there and get one for myself.
It was great, you know, especially hunting father and sons and them to enjoy it as I enjoy it with my dad, you know, that it means the world to me, so I know it does to them as well. To be able to share these hunts with their father. And
part of what we do here on Prime Revolution, we're raising our kids to be in the outdoors. They've killed some nice animals, and they're respectful to the animal and respectful to the people around them. And part of being in the outdoors and raising your kids in the outdoors is part of that. Noon, we were looking at a small bull. At some point, the big bull stood up. We knew there was going to be another bull there. They're sitting there by themselves usually.
Have you seen that bull before? Brock did.
Brock and Trevor actually found this bull in archery season in September. And when they saw him, they were like, yeah, that's going to be a bull that we're going to have to try to take out this year. Then they didn't see it after that. It kind of just wandered off. And then when they spotted it today, they knew it was him and pulled up the video and showed us, which was really cool to see. And it was a pretty close-up video, so I got a real good view of him. And when I saw that video, I was like, yeah, you know, we're gonna go after this one.
we made another mile, 3/4 mile, I guess, you know, added on to the hike.
The hike up was super tiring, and I was just excited. I wanted to get up there. I was going as quick as I could. I didn't realize how steep the hill was and how far the walk was, but definitely the thought of the bull being up there and us having a chance just kept me going. I wanted to get up there and get set up. Once we finally got to where we had a gap in the trees and got all set up, I was working on my rest and making sure everything was solid. It was 500 yards, and we sat there for probably a good 30 to 45 minutes before the bull moved, but we knew exactly where he was. When he stood up, I thought he was going to come out on the left side, but he turned around and started to come out on the right side very slowly, just feeding. Looking at the tree through the scope, and all I could see was his fronts come out and his neck points and then his royals, and I was just looking at his horns.
You ready, Connor? Okay.
was awesome. We made our way up to him, and we probably had an hour of daylight left. When I walked up to him, I did not realize how heavy he was. His horns were like that big around. They were giant. I would say this is probably my new favorite hunt to go on for sure. Elk hunting it's just awesome. The animals are just beautiful and giant. I couldn't ask for more.
It's super cool to hunt in the same place as my dad. It's pretty out here, you know, lots of big deer. So whenever I get to come out here, I get even more excited. Especially the tradition that we have at Prime, passing on the hunting tradition to your kids, your family. And it feels really good to be a part of that.
There's nothing like the feeling of harvesting an animal and the respect that you have for that animal after the harvest. The adrenaline that you feel leading up to right before you pull the trigger. And I can tell you that watching my son become the hunter that he has become, watching him harvest the animals that he has, my adrenaline times 10. I mean, everything goes out the window. It's very hard for me to keep my composure. I'm definitely way more excited when he harvests a great animal, more so than if it was my own.
We're in northern Quebec hunting Quebec Labrador caribou. It was going to be the end of the Quebec Labrador hunting. I made the choice to take our 13-year-old son with me. The hunting conditions for the first day of our hunt was pretty terrible. The wind was blowing rain.
Getting to go out on a nice, clear, sunny day after those first 2 days it was such a relief.
I've spent a lot of days on the mountain glassing for animals, and that was the most caribou I've ever seen in one place in one time. It's a whole lifestyle, and now that we're going to lose this caribou, and that we're losing our lifestyle, so we got to find other sources of work.
We saw another group farther downriver crossing again, so we said, let's go after those, there's a good bull in there. I placed a perfect shot right behind his shoulder. One shot, one kill. That was exciting right there.
Got a great caribou. So proud of the shot that he made. And even if I don't get something, I am completely happy at this point. So then we decided to go back to camp and get on the side-by-side and go back to that first spot that started it all. We come over the hill, we're told by Sheldon to get down again and creep over this hill, and here's another huge group, and it's almost all bulls.
Within 10 minutes they were right there.
He said, when it's clear, you take a shot, and I waited for one little calf to walk by, and After I shot my bull, I was so excited.
So happy for you.
And I hugged my son, and I was so happy, I was so relieved. I was very thankful and grateful for this animal, for this opportunity. It's probably one of the proudest moments I've had, besides watching Joey take his caribou.
It's very exciting for that to be last bull for the season through the whole outfitter, and it was a good caribou too. So.
We had a great experience of good and bad weather, and overall it was a successful, super fun hunt, and I would do it anytime again if they open the hunt back up.
I love being out watching Joey go hunting. He's an amazing kid, an amazing shot, and he's growing up to be quite a great hunter, and I'm one proud mom.
One of the funnest things I've ever done. It's something that you look forward to. Every year, it's like we make it a yearly thing and have an amazing time and catch some giant fish.
It's amazing to see the progression and the growth that Joey and Connor have made as not only fishermen, but outdoorsmen.
When you hook a big one, they will rip line off, break rods, tear tackle up. I mean, they're tough.
Our biggest fish ever, we've never gotten above a 48 or a 49 incher, which is absolutely giant. Like that fish weighs 30 pounds. You catch so many fish, you literally catch 50 to 100 fish a day, and you always catch a 40 incher, no matter what. Every time you come here, you're gonna catch a 40 incher, which is super fun because they put on a huge fight.
Maybe that was just
I've been coming up here for 5 years. My kid's got a 48, Mike's got a 48, Joey's got a 49.
Give me some.
And I've gotten a bunch of fish in the 45 to 47 range, but I never got anything bigger than that. I caught a huge 48 incher, probably the biggest fish I've ever caught. I mean, it's 29 pounds, just a pig. But these fish are unbelievable.
This far north, you can expect all kinds of weather. It gets cold, we get rain, we get wind, lightning, thunderstorms. So it just runs the gamut of weather up here, which is to be expected, so you come prepared.
You get to see a giant lightning storm across the sky, so it's a cool place. The thing I'll remember about coming here is catching all these big northern pike with my family and hanging out with my grandpa and my uncle.
I feel very, very blessed and fortunate to be able to do this, for my son to be able to do this with me. He'll have memories that will last a lifetime, just as I have from growing up hunting and fishing with my dad and my uncles. I think it's key to a kid's livelihood growing up. I mean, I think it develops them in a skill set that not a lot of kids get to do. You kind of lost your little boy, but you gained a little man in the process, so it's cool to have watched it happen that way.
It's kind of fun to watch the progression from Joey and Connor. They've kind of grown up here. Crime Revolution's all about the kids anyway, and you know that's what our show's about. And this really emulates what we're trying to produce out there. This family environment is what we're all about.